Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Starknet Espresso, your go-to source to everything Starknet and beyond. Today we have a true driving force behind the growth of Starknet in Africa, Paul Emmanuel, the community builder for Starknet Africa. He's been pivotal in growing the community across the continent and has spearheaded several initiatives that focuses on community development, developer education, and fostering blockchain adoption. From the first ever Starknet conference in Africa to Cairo Bootcamp in Accra, Paul is here to share his insights on building community in Web3 and Starknet's growth in Africa. And it's truly a pleasure to have him here with us today. Oh, welcome to the show, Paul. It's a great pleasure to have you here.
Yeah, same. Nice to be here.
So to kick things off, Starknet is growing massively in Africa, and as a community builder, there's the way I look at Starknet and how it's grown in recent years. I see a lot of effort that's been putting, and the progress I can't quantify how good it's been. What's your approach to building this massive community in Africa?
Okay, cool. Let me start off by introducing myself. I'm Paul Emmanuel, the community manager at Starknet Africa. So basically, the whole journey of Starknet Africa started from 2022. So my idea as of then was to build out a Nigerian community. But over time, I realized that I could actually do more, right? So I started off the whole Starknet Africa. Then we started from Nigeria, of course, because I'm based in Nigeria, right? Then we went beyond that. Then I met a few guys from Nairobi. I met someone else from Congo. But the idea that actually made us to like grow this much is because of like how welcoming we have made the community to be. Because when your community is quite welcoming, anyone will just want like hop in and join. And also we had like this idea of okay, see, Starknet is new and is a new programming language. So basically, if you are maybe a bit technical and you're looking at somewhere you could be recognized, Starknet is the place to do that, right? So, which actually brought up the idea of us doing our first boot camp that was in 2022, which attracted a whole lot of people. They went beyond there and participated in Web3 Lagos conference, which gave us like massive influx of people, right? And I mean, people like Gospel, Blessing, a lot of them like came into the community through there. So my strategy, I would say, and our strategy basically has been to onboard people, letting them know the potential that Starknet has, because people always love thinking, okay, what would I benefit from this like long term? And looking at this in Africa generally, like a lot of people have actually benefited from Starknet like from the past like 2 years. And reason being that a lot of them were early because maybe if you could, people like me were early to get into Starknet and also like let them know. Then another reason was the point of like getting to learn Cairo. Because let's say as a developer, maybe when you get into the Ethereum ecosystem, maybe when you get into the crypto ecosystem, you realize that a lot of like other ecosystem are kind of like saturated. Maybe you know how to like code Solidity, right? But then there are a bunch of people that knows how to code the same stuff. But then when is a different case when it comes to Starknet, whereby is a new language. I mean, it has been here for years, but I would still call it a new language, right? So, and if you know it enough, you have a lot of leverage. I mean, you'll be known. And when the community is still like growing, and what like you can get to like meet the team, you can get to talk with the ecosystem manager or whoever. I mean, it gives you a lot of leverage. So our main point of like growing, should I say, my main point of like growing the community as of 2022 to now has always been like letting people know that this is still new. I mean, you can actually get to learn it and be the top guy in the ecosystem. And that has basically been our idea. So since then we have done like two different boot camps and we'll actually have one coming up like very soon, like in October, right? So yeah, so it's been telling people, okay, this is what Starknet is all about. This is what Cairo is all about. It's not saturated as other ecosystem, right? Then you now talk about okay, the efforts we have put into making this possible. I mean, we have done a lot of boot camps, a lot of meetups, developer based and also user centric based meetups, and also that has been like the the major effort like I've put into making Starknet like well known in Africa.
Yeah, well, it's fascinating how you handle this. And I mean, my first contact with Cairo was also, I think it was last year, 2023. Good to you guys.
Oh,
It was after Web3 Bridge boot camp on Solidity, and then I got into it. So I mean, I'm just like
oh,
confirming what you said. Like, I know you guys are putting a lot of work to bringing it out there for a couple of people. And for a country that is
mhm.
vast like Africa, because Africa is it's diverse in a lot of ways, different cultures, different teams, different
Yeah.
languages. I'm wondering, like, there's because what you've achieved is not a small feat, it's massive. What are the challenges that you face, and how have you like overcome these challenges? Because truly, it's marveling how much you've achieved in such a small period of time.
Yeah, basically. So, when you're dealing with people from different countries, you have to like adapt to whatever like the way they do their stuff. So, right. So, one of the major strategies that have worked for us, worked for me generally, is by having a community lead in each country. So, basically, I don't have to be the one like there. So, I already have someone that knows the way the ecosystem function there, so they can actually like communicate, do meetups over there and all. So, my whole the only stuff I have to do is to coordinate stuff, to coordinate like let's say they have want to have do a meetup, I'll tell them, okay, this is how we do it, and this is how you're going to like achieve maximum number of like participants and a whole lot of stuff there. But then on the other end, they'll be the ones to like handle all of it. So basically community building is not just a one-man show, right? I mean, you have to be able to communicate with every other person and like also understand what they want as a community, maybe as a person, and also like understand like the kind of what your community actually like wants basically. So the community, let's say in Kenya, approach stuff like in a different way. People in Uganda approach stuff in a different way. So the community lead we have in these countries makes it like very easy. Like right now we have community lead in Uganda, we have in Kenya, we have in Congo. And these guys has been amazing because their own aim as well is to as well build out these communities on their own end. But at the end of the day, we are all like we all have like this same goal. I mean, it's more like different countries, same goal. The goal is to, at the end of the day, build out like a concrete or maybe a solid project out of Africa on Starknet, right? So that has been the main stuff, right? So when you talk about if I've faced any challenges, so um, I think maybe the major challenge would be getting into a new country because I've had a call with someone in Cote d'Ivoire, but I mean they when the ecosystem over there is not like so solid, it makes it like very difficult. So I mean all of this take time. Even I had a call with someone from Algeria, right? So but then the ecosystem is still quite small, but it's going to take time. So it's just all work in progress. So it's more about okay, someone being able to lead all this stuff, but then there's also like someone else in other countries to handle like different activities like going on over there.
Also fascinating. Thank you very much. And then again, I was in Kenya. That was back in May, and this was prior to traveling. I was in Web3 Club, so we also had a Cairo boot camp on Web3 Club. Just to allude to what you were saying, they were very welcoming. I mean, in the group, I think it was Ocean. I hope I got the name correct. But Ocean was the one heading the Web3 Club, and I think Dalmas too. I think two of those are the names that I can remember
Yeah,
very well
yeah,
in
and Alex
Web3
as
Club.
well.
Yeah, sure. So I
Hmm.
mean, it's a massive community. I mean, the two places that I know Nigeria is doing very well because, of course, you're here, and then I know a couple of Nigerian developers that are into the ecosystem too that are doing very well. But Kenya has been quite responsive in the group Web3 Club. They've been quite responsive as far as Cairo is concerned. So I mean, what you're doing, you might not even see how far it's gone because we at the bottom feed, I'll use bottom feed, we feel the impact of what you're doing so far. One other thing I wanted to touch on is, when it comes to Africa, I think most of the time when we think crypto, we think finances. It's always in the finance sector. And I'm thinking, right? Like, are there anything that we're doing to, expand this this new technology beyond, just having to exchange value of monetary values? Are there things like diversifying into the healthcare sector, governance, or what you say, agriculture? I know a couple of my friends built dams last year that had to do with governance tokens and voting. But are there anything that we're doing to expand beyond finances?
Yeah. So first off, you have to look at okay, what has been the current like the main issue in Africa, and always it's always payment. I mean, if not for like crypto or USDC, like as an African or maybe as a Nigerian, it would be very difficult for you to access dollars, right? But crypto has made it easy. But like you said, apart from that, what else? I mean, there's a lot of stuff you have to look at issues that we faced as Africans, right? We majorly like have land disputes, a lot of them. So if let's say blockchains can actually like solve these issues by like bringing a lot of stuff on chain, it makes it like so much easy, right? So and of course like this is stuff this is kind of like things that Starknet can actually like do. I mean it has all the features needed to like provide the need that Africans like need generally. So you could talk about the health cases. I actually like met someone in Moa at Moa Accra event in Ghana last in June, I guess. I was talking about like he's building a tool that will be used in the healthcare system and all. I mean, which is cool. I mean, it's very cool. So apart from the finances aspects, right? I mean, there's a lot of other features you could think about, other applications you could think about, which is the let's say, should I say reward assets aspect, then you talk about supply chain. I mean, in Africa, like we do a lot of farming days and but maybe the tracking of these goods, it's quite like difficult sometimes. I mean, there's a lot of corruption going on and all, but if you have all this stuff on the blockchain, it makes it like very, very easy, transparent and traceable and all that. But then, when you're talking about solutions that can be brought on the like blockchain, you also talk about like the regulation aspect. So
Yeah, true.
which is a major like drawback for us like as Africans, because when it comes to like Nigeria, let's say the government like is fighting like this crypto stuff, then
True.
but it, getting to Kenya, I mean, it wasn't completely like that. I mean, it was more like okay, it's crypto like is accepted generally because when you get to Kenya, you can just like connect to Binance and always get
Yeah.
Kenyan shillings and stuff. So I feel over time, government generally would actually get to see the impact that crypto or maybe blockchain is having. And also, apart from the finances, there's a whole lot of use cases we can apply as Africans. Maybe you just have to like look around you. Okay, what issues can I provide solutions to? Right? It
Yeah.
has to start from like your background, maybe your village or maybe your hometown, like wherever you're staying. Okay,
True.
what solution can we actually bring? And there's a lot of them. But then what's actually causes like Africans generally to not move very fast with this is one, you have to talk about funding, right? I mean, I would say maybe the funding to do this is not so much. Yeah, then you talk about okay, the regulatory aspects. I mean, the regulation like maybe could be very, very like bad for like a project that is trying to like build up something like that. You also talk about like
True.
bad guys, like say bad actors in the ecosystem that okay, just
True.
take the money and they don't build anything, right?
True.
So there's a lot of factors, but I feel over time, right, it's going to go beyond the uh let's say just the financial inclusion that we almost always think about, right? Because that's the major use case for crypto in Africa. Even when you go to Argentina, I mean, they have like high rate of inflation and a whole lot of them like use crypto utilities to like access dollar, I mean to escape or
Mm.
maybe to avoid being their money being inflated and also basically
True.
there's a whole lot. You just have to like start from okay, these are the issues within my area and there's also like the solutions that you could think of, then you just build it out. I mean, you can just build it out then. I mean, on Starknet, if you build out something like that, there's this project, I can't remember the name, but they are building something around real world assets, right? So these are a few stuff we could do in Africa. So you could get funding from Starknet to build this stuff, but as I always encourage, like if you get funding, just make sure you build out something that you got funding for, basically. Yeah.
Um, Oh, wonderful, wonderful. I know a couple of friends that are building. There's one project currently going on. It's called Custo Directories. So basically, it's a crime fighting app in some sense. So the whole idea of the app is to record evidences and store it on chain. That way, it cannot be manipulated or tampered. I just had an interview with one of the developers that are involved in it, and it's something that it's massive. And probably that was why I asked if we are doing anything outside finances. It's just to show that there are a couple of people are doing like massive things in Africa as far as development is concerned. Now going back to community building, it's for me. I don't know, but I find what you're doing quite fascinating and difficult, but you're pulling through it. How do you keep us, because I'm part of the community now, how do you keep us engaged with this whole thing? How do we manage to stay tuned and how are we engaged in the ecosystem? How are you doing it?
Mm. Okay, so uh, first off, I would say for community building, like I said, when you are building a community, you don't have to put yourself first. I mean, it puts every other person first. But then I received a question in Kenya during its safari. How have I been able to stay consistent like over the past 2 years on Starknet? So I responded that okay, it's all about like building on what you believe in, right? So it's more like okay, I believe in Starknet. I believe in their technology. I also like believe that the community is like awesome. And truthfully, the community is awesome. So when you're in this kind of environment, like you don't have any choice than to keep on like doing what you're doing, right? So what has actually like kept me consistent, maybe what has like kept me like in the game is knowing that okay, there's a whole lot of stuff to do. I mean, that maybe we have achieved having up to 500 career developers in Africa, maybe 1,000 is not enough. Like we can always like go beyond that. So I always like try to think about what are the things we can do to scale this number. So it's always all about like me trying to think about how I can exceed my limits, maybe how we can exceed our limits, like as a community generally. And why I do this, I put the community first before myself, right? So sometimes when I come to an interview, like I even forget like I forget to like introduce myself. So someone like came to me recently and was like saying, okay, I should like kind of like talk about myself a bit more that people that like don't actually like know me. But maybe it's just like a nature you have to take when you're trying to like build a community. You have to like put everybody first before yourself, of course, because at the end of the day, when things are like going well, I mean, it's always like reflect back on you, right? So it's not like knowing what the community wants. So I've gotten to identify okay, people that are coming to Stagnant Africa, people that needs to have understanding about like Stagnant Cairo generally. So which is why we put out this Cairo boost camps, base camps, also like collaborate with other communities like Blockheader, Web3 Bridge to do so it's always all about exceeding the limit. Let's say the limit right now it's maybe let's say 1,000, you can also always get it to 1,005. So you have to always think about okay, how do I scale? And also, which is what we have been doing with launching like different initiatives that will help the community as a whole. And of course, we don't just like channel this energy to let's say Nigeria. We have done stuff in Ghana, Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, a whole lot of like countries, right? So it's always all about exceeding the limit that we're currently on. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that basically. It's always about pushing the limits beyond where it was before, setting new goals and new boundaries,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
been wonderful. One other thing I would want to maybe like for you to throw a bit light on is education events in Web3 is a big thing, right? It's good and it's crucial to the growth of the ecosystem generally. Let's talk about events. Are there, I know, I know the first Starknet conference, you organized that, right?
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. So we organized that in May this year. So it was not like, and we had about 400 participants attended like the conference, which is which is very very massive. Like considering the fact it's just a project specific conference. But then how we were able to do that was we um we didn't just like focus on, okay, we just want to talk about Starknet all day. I mean, we had to like put in like topics around layer twos, topics around like security, a whole lot of them, right? Just to bring the interest of like different people, different communities to come together, right? So uh, and also we also had like a few community partners that had and still have like interest in Starknet. And yeah, it wasn't an easy stuff to pull because that's the first one in Africa. And of course, I'm thinking maybe we could do something more outside Nigeria regarding something like that. So it was quite massive. And I had a lot of people like compliment me about like how coordinated it was, how they got to like get a lot of value out of it, how the speakers like delivered like fully. And this is like how I foresee events to be. I mean, event has to like offer value to people that attend the events, and also like the organizers of the events have to feel that okay, they actually did something. So after the event, I felt like okay, I did something, and that was a good feeling for me too. So so yeah, so basically, since it was the first one, we learned a lot of stuff. I mean, we learned a lot of stuff. We learned that okay, we have to maintain the standard that we have started for ourselves, right? So maybe if we are having a next conference, I mean, the standard has to like go way beyond what we currently like did this year. And yeah, I would just say it's massive. It was massive, basically. It was massive.
I think I agree with the person that said you need to talk about this thing because the way you, I mean, I know about the events. I was watching, and the way you talk, you're so humble. You make it look like it practically was the biggest event in Lagos at the time, even in Nigeria as a whole, in the whole of West. That was the biggest event at the time. The way you sound, and the reason why I brought it up, I think this is in as far as Starknet is concerned in Africa, that's one of the biggest events ever, hosted by the team that's the main team is Starknet. It's massive. It's massive, and I don't think people talk about it enough. And so it's a big event, and which is actually the reason why I brought it up is because it's again it's ridiculous, ridiculously good what you've done and how these things are, making waves in Nigeria, but generally in Africa at large. Are there other projects or events that you've worked on to that are on that scale? I know you spoke on Earth Safari recently. Tell us more about. I just want to hear more about things that you're doing in the
Yeah.
ecosystem.
So yeah. So before I talk about that, I have to also say like all this I didn't do them alone, right? Like I said, I mean, building a community like it's not a one man stuff. I also like have like people I work with that made it up possible. People like Sarah, people like Blessing, Darlington, a lot of them in the team, right? So, but then at the end of the day, for something to like progress, you need someone to like be in charge, to like lead stuff and direct stuff, which is why I do. And yeah, talking about it's a fire, it was also massive because that was the first it's a fire that Starknet is sponsoring. And getting to meet guys from Web3 Club, Dickens, the community lead at Starknet Nairobi, so it's like quite massive. And also I got to realize, okay, there's a lot of payments, applications in Kenya like going on because um the government kind of like made it easy that okay, you don't have to go all this so regulatory stuff like we go through like in Nigeria to set up
Yeah.
something, right? So it's quite easy. So there's a lot of people that are trying to like build out, okay, since I mean there's this one ramp, I also met Lance David. He's also built like an amazing product like and want to also like come on Starknet. So we did a few stuff at It's Safari. We did a workshop. We also like had a booth which they call a Kimbada in Kenya. Then we also like did a happy hour, right? So where we had like
Mm,
different people come around, we talk about stuff, we gist, and yeah, I mean, it mustn't always have to be about tech, right? So just you
yeah,
also
true.
like need to like ease up at some point, which was why like we conducted the happy hour. Then for the workshops, we had good number of like Kenyan developers and let me say East African developers like come around to like
Mhm.
yeah, what's Starknet is all about. Then at the booths, it was good. I mean, generally the event was good. I mean, if I would rate it, I would give it I would give it within 7.5 to 8 over 10, something like that. Yeah, basically that I
Fair
mean that was
enough.
it for me.
Massive, massive. There was also a talk
Hmm.
of Starknet in Mo Accra recently, yeah?
Yeah, pretty much, pretty much. So at Mo Accra, it happened in June. So
Okay.
it was a 2 weeks developer event, right? So we utilized the 2 weeks to do a 5 days Cairo bootcamp, basically. So yeah, so before then, like we didn't have an active committee in like very active committee in Ghana. We had persons from Ghana that were doing a bit of like Cairo stuff, Starknet stuff, but they were like not so active. So the Muakra like helped to tell people from Ghana like what Starknet is all about into Starknet ecosystem, learn about Cairo. So we did a 5 day Cairo bootcamp, which
Okay.
ended pretty well. I mean, we had like very good participation at the Cairo bootcamp. Then at the end of the day, we now did a capture the flag event, right? So uh we had guys that like set up a few code. So I think two persons cracked the first stage and second stage, but the last stage was not like able for them to crack, right? So I mean, it was like quite fascinating and I mean, I'm hoping that we actually like continue to do stuff like in continents like Ghana because when you look at the crypto space in Africa, the top countries are like Nigeria, Kenya, Ghana, let me say Congo, South Africa. Yeah. So I mean, there are just a few of them there is, and then others like are trying to catch up. Which over time, I feel that they will catch up like generally. So the events in Ghana was like amazing. Like was very amazing.
Oh, nice, nice. One of my friends was actually in the North and he spoke so highly about Stark. And I think it was after that that he got into Stark the Cairo programming proper. So yeah, I mean, this is
Oh, cool.
massive. Looking ahead, is there what's next for you on Starknet Africa? Are there projects and initiatives that you're currently working on for the future?
Okay, so initiative. We announced the Caribous Camp today, Caribous Camp 3.0. So we did the first one in 2022. We did the second one last year. Then we are doing the third one this year, right? Which starts October 17th, right? So apart from that, um, other initiatives. I mean, there's going to be a lot of like other stuff like that will come over for project specific, right? There's this should I say company, Forest Lab, that is being built by team from Starknet Africa. So they are currently building token bound account on Starknet. They are building Starknet scaffold. What else? There's also like other project like under Forest Lab, like Mancala Parks, for Starknet, a whole lot of them. So basically, at the end of the day, what I've always been saying since 2022 is the essence of us doing a lot of bootcamp is that, let's say in 2 years, this was 2 years ago, like now
Mm,
this year, by this year, we should like have like projects like that are live on Starknet from Africa. And now, I mean, there's like one RAM that is currently active. You can exchange your tokens to either Kenyan shillings, Ghana cedis, and Uganda currency as well, right? So these
mm,
are projects that are currently live on Starknet, right? So which is what I assumed or what I hoped for, and it's currently happening. So the end goal has always been to like have project like build out their dApps on Starknets, which are from Africa, basically. And that's what Torres Lab is doing. The end goal is to have projects that are live, and we just keep on pushing, basically, because there's still a lot of people to reach out to. And that's what we keep on doing at Starknet Africa.
Oh, thank you very much. It's been very fantastic hearing the incredible things that you're doing in Starknet, from hosting the first ever Starknet conference to your speech at Ed Safari, and basically just building a resounding community here in Nigeria, but also in Africa at large. It's massive to have you on this show. It's incredible. Like, I
Thank you.
can't even hide my joy to, be able to host you, one
Nah,
of the biggest people in the ecosystem on this program. It's nice to have you. Um, just
yeah,
before we
it's amazing
end,
to be here.
before we end this, so I imagine people will want to get to know and follow more on what you do. I mean, people that are just getting into the space or watching this channel for the first time and they want to know more about you. How can they reach out to you? Any social media handles?
Yeah, basically, so I have like just a single username. So you can just search me up, Paul Emmanuel NG. That's Paul Emmanuel NG, right? It's on Telegram, Twitter, anywhere you want to like search me, right? So, but apart from that, like I always like put Starknet Africa first. So if you want to get to me, you can always like get to me through Starknet Africa. Of course, it's good to like build a personal brand, but I feel right now the my mission at Starknet Africa has not ended. I mean, I'm still like 5% like into what we are trying to achieve, right? So yeah, so you can also like follow us on Twitter, Telegram at Starknet Africa to get updates on Starknet, Cairo, and also like be part of the community, because I mean we have like an active community of African developers, African users are quite interested on Starknet. So we can just like join us. You can follow me on Twitter, Paul Emmanuel NG, then follow me on follow Starknet Africa on Twitter, Telegram at Starknet Africa, basically. Yeah.
So, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure talking to you today. It's beyond what I thought it would be. I'm very, very, very grateful to have you on the show.
Yeah, same. So I mean, your podcast, I would call it a podcast here. I mean, it's amazing. Like, it gets like let someone like open up, discuss like what's you think about, which is very cool. So I would encourage anyone to like come here, talk about like what they have been building on Starknet and the initiative like they have like planned and all. So thank you. I'm really like grateful to be here.
And thank you very much. Thank you for joining us today. And to all our listeners, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned for more exciting conversations from the world of Starknet. Keep listening to Starknet Espresso and see you on the next video. Goodbye.